The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
Okay, let's go.
Happy Labor Day, everybody. I hope everybody is enjoying their long weekend and has the day off today. I am back, and this is Ray Dustar, and this is the Deep Shallow Dive. Today I'm going to do another quick episode because I did want to finish out on this term limits conversation. Man, this thing has really generated a lot of response from the audience, which is awesome, actually. And so I'm going to do a quick one today. Keep it under 10 minutes for sure, and just talk about some of the feedback and try and sort of go through that together and make some sense of it, and then provide some additional clarification. Because I will say, and again, I'm calling a spade on this, the visceral hate for Mitch McConnell was pretty universal. And what I mean by that is, God, it seems like obviously the Democratic people hate him, the folks that are Democrats, but so did most of my Republican friends. So that was pretty interesting. The visceral hate of Mitch McConnell was definitely consistent. Quick side note, I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at my trailer video, which was the first time I did some video. There is a character cartoon turtle that really is a dead ringer for Mitch McConnell. Like, it's insane how much this cartoon turtle looks like Mitch McConnell. So if you didn't get a chance to see the cartoon turtle that looks a lot like Mitch McConnell and overall wanted to check out the trailer video, that actually runs on Spotify. So if you listen through Spotify, you should see the video. But if you don't listen through Spotify, you listen through Apple or Google or wherever, then you can actually go to deepshallowdive.com and then go to the videos tab, and you will be able to see that trailer with some funny graphics and get to see Mitch McConnell as that character turtle, which seriously, I mean, dead ringer on that. Okay, but I will say where I was a little bit surprised about was, the lack of recognition of Dianne Feinstein and just her situation overall. So I'm going to give you some more information because, again, I do think if you are a Democrat and you just don't see this, or you're not willing to accept that a 90-year-old woman who has served, her country for 31 years and gathered a net worth of over $230 million, why she is not the best person to make decisions for your country, I think you need to rethink that a little bit. I really do. Again, we're not talking about a 65-year-old woman. We're talking about a 90-year-old woman. If you can name me one other 90-year-old woman that you know worth $200 and something million that is still working, I'll send you a free bottle of Boost. And then if you can name me another 90-year-old woman or man worth 200 and some odd millions dollars who is working in a major government role and has the ability to vote on major issues, I'll send you a lifetime supply. I mean it. This is pretty insane that people did not really want to, I guess, agree with this and did not want to say, no, she's not fit to serve. And so I'm going to prove to you why you're wrong on that and encourage you to think about it differently. You can't think about things just on your partisan lines. If you think McConnell's not fit, well, you have to agree that Dianne Feinstein is not fit. So basically, on August 8th, it came out that she had given up power of attorney to her daughter. And I'm going to read this to you verbatim. This is the article that came out in CBS News. And it says, but the report of Feinstein's daughter, Catherine Feinstein, 66, being given power of attorney for her mother comes after a moment of confusion for the Democratic senator last month when she began launching into remarks during a vote on the $823 billion military budget. I'm going to repeat that. during the vote on the $823 billion military budget. Colleagues that were next to her kept prompting her multiple times simply to vote aye. Sorry, I think I said yay in the last video. I had Kanye on my mind because I watched his documentary, which was really good. You know, think what you want about that guy, but man, if you watch his documentary on Netflix, you'll realize, I mean, he is kind of a genius, regardless of everything else. Okay, so basically that vote I referenced in the last episode was the military budget, and again, she's given power of attorney to her daughter. And so I just don't know how, with a right mind and conscience, anybody can say that she belongs in this role still, that she is still fit to be in the United States Senate. You know, you've got other senators like Dick Durbin saying, oh, it's great to have Dianne back. It's great to have her back on the floor. I mean, come on, guys. Seriously, you gotta call us. I need to stop saying gotta. You have to. I speak better grammar than that. You have to call a spade on this. And again, the only way we're going to really come to the truth on all this stuff is to be able to be impartial about everything and focus on the reality of the situation and nothing else. She's 90 years old. I mean, again, who else is working at 90, let alone in Congress? Anyway, I did want to share and bring that clarity and just say, yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised at the lack of, I guess, recognition from some of the people that I spoke to about Dianne Feinstein, where they were just visceral about McConnell. And again, I get the visceral hate part, but they were also like, oh yeah, he absolutely should retire. This is absurd. But then when I said, well, what about Feinstein? Like I said, it was just a lot of backtracking and a lot of, well, she's not as bad as McConnell. Anyway, I'm really glad this entire situation came up with this term limits, because it really does set the stage for, every other podcast that I'm going to do and just the overall tone of this show. And, over the weekend, I went back and I listened to all of my previous episodes because, I want to make sure I'm authentic in everything I say. And to be honest with you, when I graded myself, I thought overall I was pretty authentic. But I will say there were a couple times that, I was like, okay, Ray, you're posturing a little bit, and I'm going to try and not do that anymore. The only thing I'd ask of you guys is, just hear me out on everything. I mean, if it's not what you agree with, for example, maybe some of you that, again, continue to be staunch Democrats, maybe you're not loving what I'm talking about with Dianne Feinstein, but it just is. And if you can let yourself rise above and think about it, or actually do what I do a role reversal, pretend McConnell was Feinstein, I think you'd be ballistic about it. Ballistic. And so anyway, this is all growing pains, and it's all hopefully leading us in the right direction. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I got a lot of more. I've got a lot more good topics coming up, including all of a sudden the resurrection of COVID. This is interesting to me. COVID's been like non-existent and dead for 2 years, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see a lot of noise again. We're in September. Okay, interesting. I'm also gonna further dive into really the role of the media and the relationship of the media. And when I say media, I'm talking about the mainstream media. And I'm going to give you some really good examples so you can see how the same news story is covered so differently by the different outlets. It's fascinating. You'll have the same exact story, and if you go to CNN or go to Fox, they cover it totally differently. And that's why you've got to go outside the norm and you've got to find your own information. All right, that's it, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon. And remember, call a spade a spade. All right, out.
This episode was brought to you by Boost Liquid Vitamins. Wake up, take your Boost, start your day. Drink your vitamins, build your immune system with Boost. Available on Boost.com.